Welcome to Friends. I'm Charlie Cruz. Today we're getting into the UK's plan to completely ban social media for anyone under 16. Not a warning label, not a parental toggle, a full ban. And look, the promise sounds clean. But when you actually dig into what we know, what the research says, and what's already happening in Australia, it gets a lot messier than the press conference made it seem. The UK just said it's going to ban social media for anyone under 16. Not limit it, not add a warning label. Ban it. TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, X. Off limits if you're 15. And the pitch is a tearjerker. Give kids their childhood back. Less scrolling, more playing outside. The whole nostalgic montage. The Prime Minister stood up and basically said tech giants had their chance and blew it, so now the grown-ups are stepping in. It's the most aggressive move any government anywhere has tried. It follows Australia doing the same thing, and it lands right on top of Gen Z, your younger siblings, your own apps. So let's actually look at it, because there's a gap between what this policy promises and what we have any evidence it can do. And that gap is the whole episode. Here's the story they're selling you. The government, specifically Keir Starmer and the Technology Secretary Liz Kendall, is framing this as a rescue. Big tech failed to protect children, so the state is drawing the line nobody else would. Their words are about siding with families over tech companies, backing parents, setting a new normal, and the headline number they keep waving around is 9 in 10 parents support a ban. Notice what that framing does. It takes this huge cloud of parental anxiety, all that vague dread about screens and algorithms and what your kid is seeing at midnight, and it crushes it into one clean line. Under 16 equals no social media. That's it. It's intuitive. It feels moral. It gives every stressed out parent the sense that someone finally said no. And it's politically genius, because if you oppose it, the framing makes it sound like you're on the side of the platforms, like you're defending TikTok. Who wants that smoke? And the thing is, it's a popular win without the hard part. The hard part, the slow part, is actually confronting how these platforms are designed to hook you. The infinite scroll, the variable reward, the stuff engineered in a lab to keep your eyes locked. Drawing an age line lets the government look tough on big tech without touching any of that machinery. That's effective politics. Whether it's effective protection is a totally separate question. And that's where it gets messier. So let's get into what's actually true. First, this is a plan, not a law. As of the announcement, nothing is in force. Legislation is expected to go to Parliament before Christmas, and the protections wouldn't actually come into effect until spring of 2027. They took the powers through a Children's Wellbeing Act, which lets them fill in the details later. So right now it's an intention with a timeline. Keep that date in your head. Spring 2027. That's when we find out if any of this is real. Second, it's broader than just a ban, and also narrower than it sounds. It would stop the user-to-user platforms from giving accounts to under 16s. But it explicitly excludes messaging apps. WhatsApp and Signal are untouched, which matters a lot because private messaging is a massive channel for how teens actually talk. So calling this a total social media ban kind of oversells the reach. On top of the ban, there's a layer about harmful functions, live streaming, stranger-to-child contact, even on gaming sites. There's a default onset of restrictions for 16 and 17-year-olds, so there's no cliff edge at the birthday. And AI romantic companion chatbots get an 18+ minimum. So it's an age ban with a functionality layer bolted on. Now here's the part the government is quietest about. Does it work? And the strongest real-world evidence we have points the wrong way. There's an academic paper out studying Australia's ban, which is already in force. Researchers ran focus groups with young people aged 12 to 16, and the kids widely saw the ban as unfair and ineffective. Worse, by poking at the platform controls, they learned how they and their friends could get around it. The paper's core line is that technological age controls struggle to solve the social problems they're being asked to fix. I have to be careful here, because this is exactly where these stories get distorted. This was qualitative work. 5 focus groups, 15 kids total. So it tells you a lot about how kids think about the ban. It does not tell you what percentage of kids beat it. Anyone who tells you studies show most kids evade these bans is making that up. What it shows is that kids can, kids do, and crucially, kids see the whole thing as illegitimate, which is its own problem because a rule teenagers think is fake is a rule teenagers route around. Then there's the alternative the researchers actually propose. A second paper argues that bans, age gates, parental controls, screen time limits, all of it treats protection as just restricting kids' access to systems built for adults. Their pitch is something they call child-fit security. Design the platforms to treat children as real users from the start, with their privacy and well-being baked in. Now, fair is fair. That's a design philosophy, not a proven fix. They're arguing for it, not demonstrating it beats a ban. But it points at the actual fault line. One side wants to gate access. The other side says the harm lives in how the thing is built, so go fix the building. And that critique shows up in the commentary too. The recurring expert objection is that the ban won't solve anything because it punishes children instead of the platforms and business models making money off them. That's opinion, not a study. But it's a real disagreement, not just noise. Now back to that 9 in 10 parents number, because you're going to see it everywhere. It came from a government consultation that got over 116,000 responses. That's a lot of people. But a consultation is self-selecting. The people who answer are the people who already care enough to answer. That is not a representative national poll, and treating it like one is sloppy. And that 2/3 of young people figure, the one where teens supposedly agree with this, look closely. 2/3 said under 16s shouldn't use at least some platforms. Some. That's a much softer position than banning all of it. The support is genuine. It's also being read more confidently than the actual data allows. So here's where I land. This is a real, ambitious, genuinely popular policy. It's also unproven. Everything we can verify is about what the policy says. The platforms it covers, the timeline, the functionality rules, the public backing. The one thing nobody can show you is that it makes kids safer or healthier. There's no evidence here that an under 16 ban improves a single kid's mental health. That benefit is asserted by the people selling it. It hasn't been demonstrated. And the closest real-world test, Australia, gives the uncomfortable read. Kids think these bans are bogus and learn to climb over them. Meanwhile, WhatsApp and Signal, where a ton of teen life actually happens, aren't even in the bill. So the clean promise, draw a line and give childhood back, runs straight into the messy fact that the harm isn't really about where kids are. It's about how the apps are built to keep you there. The scroll, the streaks, the dopamine slot machine. A wall that a 14-year-old can climb over in an afternoon doesn't touch any of that. That doesn't make the government villains, and it doesn't make this useless. It makes it a satisfying move that solves the politics faster than it solves the problem. So don't let anyone, the government or the dunk tweet crowd, hand you certainty here. Nobody has the proof yet. The honest play is to watch what actually happens in spring 2027, not the press conference, the results. Because reassurance is easy to announce. Protection is the part you have to actually deliver. That's the episode. Spring 2027 is when we find out if any of this actually lands. Not the announcement, the results. Stay skeptical, stay curious, and I'll catch you next time on Friends.
Grab News. Thomas.